This is John Kleitz, and I'm sitting here with my friend Matt Ciccone. And since you guys don't know us, let me quickly introduce myself, and then Matt will introduce himself. I'm from the U.S. I've been living in Brazil for the last several years, and I support myself there principally by teaching English, and I've written for a number of publications. Right now I'm writing principally for Live and Invest Overseas. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Matt Ciccone. I've been living in Vietnam for about 8 years, previously to coming to Brazil about a week ago. And I have a TEFL certificate, and most of my experience has been teaching kids, but I have taught all different levels when I've been in Vietnam. I've taught adults, I've taught teenagers, I've taught little kids, so I've done a little bit of everything. And this program is going to kind of talk about working and living in Vietnam. And why would you want to go there? And
okay.
Is it right for you? That's the other question.
Very good. I think that's an excellent segue. You know, some people who are listening to this, Matt, they're already interested in Vietnam. Others perhaps are just beginning to consider it, or might have taught in other countries, and they're thinking about Vietnam. So let's talk about a few of the reasons why somebody might want to go to Vietnam. And I was surprised when you told me that money is a big one.
It is. It really is. That's one of the reasons I stayed there for 8 years, because Vietnam has a very similar cost of living to the neighboring countries, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Philippines, everything like that. And you can work all those places, but you're going to make double the money, roughly double the money.
Yeah, so just to throw out some numbers. So you said in Vietnam, it's pretty easy to make $2,000 US a month, which I know doesn't sound like a great deal, but you can live on.
Yeah, when I was there in Vietnam, I was saving almost half my money. You know, if I'm getting $2,000, I'm saving $800 to $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you go work in Cambodia as an example, you're pretty much just going to have money to live. You're not going to save anything.
Well, and I think that's true for English teachers in many countries. I mean,
right.
Here in Brazil, I bank a little bit each month, but it's not $1,000. You know,
right?
So that was pretty attractive. Being able to make and to make that $2,000. Tell me about the workload, because this was good.
You have two choices. It depends whether you want to work Monday through Friday, kind of banker's schedule. You know, 8 to 4, 8 to 5. That would be in a public school.
Okay.
And or if you like to kind of sleep in during the week, and you got to work weekends though, nights and weekends, you work at a language center. Okay. You know, so it really comes down to which option do you want? Do you want to work Monday through Friday, or do you want to work nights and weekends? Different for different people. Yeah.
But either way, you're going to make about the same. And again, you said you can live on $1,000, $1,200 a month, and
really
bank the difference. So you were saying a lot of people will work for a few months, and then
you could totally work for 3 months, 6 months, bank a little money, and then you go have some fun in Cambodia, Thailand, Singapore. It's a really good region of the world. Philippines.
I know
Laos.
you like the Philippines.
Yes, I love the Philippines. But it's a good region to be. You're kind of centrally located, about 2 hours from, or less, from so many different places.
Okay.
So that's an option. Go there 6 months, bank some money, and then go have a little, couple month holiday somewhere else.
Okay.
So
super. Another reason for looking at Vietnam, I mean, let's just be honest, a lot of the guys listening to this right here probably like Asian women. I'm sure that a lot of the guys that you met in Vietnam were there because of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going to Vietnam, you're a novelty, and you go up to the girls, and they're very welcoming and friendly and hospitable towards you. So that's good. I mean, I have a lot of friends there, expat friends, and pretty much all of them are married to Vietnamese women. They've been there for a while, and the ones that just arrived, they soon usually have a girlfriend. So it's it's definitely a plus.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a single guy, it's a great place to go, and you like Asian women, of course.
Yeah, coming from the southeast of the U.S., I just wasn't exposed to Asian women a lot growing up, but I like petite, and I'm sure that they're petite there.
Well, if you like petite, that's a good place to go. Asia's a good continent for that, and Vietnam specifically is good for that aspect.
A couple other things that we talked about that would be real positives about Vietnam. We talked a little about the food, and while I'm really not familiar with Vietnamese food, I do like a lot of Asian food, spicy food, and I imagine if it's like most Asian food, it's probably pretty cheap as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can. I was trying to live on, and I did. If you have a set budget of about, let's say, $15 US a day for food, and that's eating 3 times a day. So breakfast and lunch will probably be Vietnamese, local food. They have a lot of soups, they have a lot of noodles, they have like chicken and rice. Kind of what you would think of with Asian food. And then you can splurge at dinner time, go spend $10 and get a cheeseburger and fries at a local restaurant, or restaurant owned by an American, for example, but they're serving burgers the same as they would in the U.S., same quality.
Okay, so you can. It's pretty easy to get Western style food.
Oh yeah. You can. Ho Chi Minh, specifically, is a place where you can get pretty much any kind of food you want. You'll never go hungry there.
And you don't pay an arm and a leg for it.
No.
And one final thing that's good about Vietnam, and some folks may never have thought about this, but there's some pretty good beaches there.
There are. Definitely in the central part, I would say are the best, in my opinion. They have places like Da Nang, Da Lat, Hoi An, Hue, and they're really beautiful. As far as, a holiday, vacation, something like that, it would actually be another thing we talked about. You go to Cambodia after 6 months, or you go to the Philippines or something like that. I think it's really good to actually work in Saigon for 6 months and then go, in the south, and then go to the central part of Vietnam and, spend some time at the beach. And it's not outrageously expensive. It is still Vietnam, but it's really beautiful. So you can go there and just kind of relax and kick back after spending the last 6 months working. Enjoy yourself. So if you're into boating or any water sports besides surfing, because the waves aren't that high, you can go do that. The central part is a great place to go. Okay. It's a very long. The geography of Vietnam. I mean, the entire east end is the coast. I mean, there's thousands of miles of coast. But from what everybody's told me and what I've seen, I think the central part is where you want to go if you're looking to go to the beach in Vietnam.
Any final words for somebody who might be thinking about going to teach English in Vietnam?
I would just say that I think the first step is always the hardest. I mean, once you get there, and we'll talk maybe about this in another video, but once you get there, you start to figure some stuff out.
Sure.
It can be overwhelming, like, where am I going to live? And,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to think about.
What about the visa? And what about this, that, and the other? But honestly, it's really not as complicated as a lot of people think it is.
And you're going to take us through that here in the course.
I will. I'll tell you about the visas. I'll tell you about, lodging, where to do that. I'll tell you about looking for a job, how you can go, find something fairly easily. So stuff like that.
All right, super. Well, thanks again for your time.
Okay, thank you.